Everybody's feeling the pain. Losing money sucks. I'm new to the world of crypto, but I've been trading for 24 years. Today we're going to analyze Bitcoin based on the information we're given with the GDAX platform. So the bubble has burst. Everybody said it was going to be different this time. People were saying $50,000 for the Bitcoin. But guys, that's just not reality. That's not the way money works in the real world. So the reality is the easy money is over. Just throwing small amounts of money in there and getting fantastic returns, those days are more or less over. You have to remember why you got into this thing. It's because of the blockchain technology. If you truly believe in blockchain technology, now is the time to gain some knowledge. There's most likely a ton of money to be made with blockchain technology, but the issue is you have to develop some skills. You can't just blindly throw money in there and hope it does good. Hope does not drive markets. Skills will help you survive these markets. Fear and greed drives the market. So let's take a look at Bitcoin today after the crash, or so-called crash, and see where we're at. So the first thing, we're looking at these charts, and if you've been following my videos for a while, we've been kind of breaking this down and analyzing charts, and I was going to continue on with some tutorials, and hopefully tomorrow I will continue with some of the tutorials. I have quite a few things planned for us, but the last couple of days with the deep decline, I felt like it was time to get off course a little bit, and let's talk about some of the things that's going on. So the first thing, several days ago, I guess we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days ago, we mentioned on one of our videos that it looks like there's huge potential, downside potential on this day right here, and that is more or less held true. And the reason we knew that is because we see this 26-day moving average had crossed over below the 12-day moving average, EMA. It's the first time in the history, in the recent history of Bitcoin, that this has happened. So that was a pretty significant signal to me. Now, as I look at this, as I'm analyzing, where do we go moving forward? I see that the 12 EMA is pointed down and the 26 is pointed down with the 26 on bottom. To me, that's a strongly negative signal. But let's move forward. Let's go on a little bit more. What are these candles telling me? These candles are like a storybook, a novel, and each one of these candles is like a paragraph in this novel, and this paragraph will tell you information, this will tell you information, this will tell you information. When you look at the whole thing, you can kind of understand the story. So the story is here, huge negative pressure. What I see right in here is a little bit interesting. I'm not saying it's positive, but it's a little bit interesting. The price can go down from roughly 11.4 down to 9, but buyers take over at this spot. They did it 2 days consecutively. Now what are you getting here these last 2 days? These candles are not anything significant to me as far as being a bullish signal, and they're not that significant to me as far as being a bearish signal. What they are is showing me indecision. Here the markets are saying, hey, well, let's trade up a little bit, let's trade down a little bit, but we really don't know. This is an extremely small body. It virtually closed at the end of the day where it opened. Here, slightly more upward pressure, but it's still an indecisive day, a smaller trading range, indecisive day. So the only thing that's happening right here, the markets are telling us, the worldwide Bitcoin markets, everything that's taken in throughout this entire planet and globe and traded with Bitcoin is telling us they do not have a clue. So here we just opened up with this new day at 7 p.m. This trades from 7 to 7 here. Just opened up with this new trading day, and it's opened slightly up. So what I am seeing that looks slightly positive, if you want to look for something positive, is we've talked about in one of my prior videos, is higher highs and higher lows. You have a higher high here, higher high here. If this one closes out here, you'll have a higher high. Now the only thing I'll say about that is these are somewhat discredited because you have such a small body. Here you have a small body here, you have a small body here. When we're traditionally looking for higher highs, we're looking for more substantial bodies. These bodies here are so small that they really don't have enough power for me to be confident in the higher highs and higher lows. Alright, so this area here feels like what I would call a support area. It has penetrated through this area twice, 2 days in a row, and really kind of this third day started to penetrate. So I want to look back. Has anything happened here in the past? Now keep in mind, these charts are relatively new. This here was the first time that Bitcoin ever got into this trading range. It's not like we have years of history in this area, so you're very limited on the amount of information you have to look back on and see the history with Bitcoin. There is a little bit of static, a little bit of sideways movement here, which basically tells us between this and this is a point where buyers and sellers find value. They feel like Bitcoin is valued low enough at this stage, they're willing to drive the price up. So there's a little bit of strength in there, a little bit of strength. Possibly here, see more sideways movement, more indecisive movements here in the history of Bitcoin. So potentially, if this breaks and goes down, we might see it stall in this area around $9,800 per Bitcoin. This will probably be another point in time, and then the next point in time would be around $8,200. A couple of points of support. These are not strong points of support. These are not strong enough for me to make a trade decision on traditionally in the way I would do it, but we're so limited here with what we have with these Bitcoin charts. It's new. You just don't have the luxury of having years of data. So, well, the other thing I look at is if I could draw, I did a video on drawing trend lines, and if you could follow along here, this imaginary trend line, if I'm drawing a straight line from this point to this point to this point, again, here, 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 and on down. If you're not familiar with this, go back and visit my earlier videos on trend lines. This would be point 1, this would be point 2, and this would be point 3 with this imaginary trend line. It looks like all that's happening is this is driving up in order to hit this trend line, and potentially it could go back down again. So the analysis for today is certainly there's not enough positive information for me to buy into the markets. These markets are hugely undecided. There is a huge downtrend, point 1, point 2, and we're about to be today or tomorrow hitting point 3 on this trend line. If this Bitcoin could break through this trend line and get to the top side of a trend line, it would be a little bit better. But with all the negative news right now, there's a potential that it's just going to bump this trend line and continue down and maybe stall around $9,800 and hopefully get some support there. Now, tomorrow may be great, tonight may be great, and it could blow through here, but there's no way of knowing what it's going to do. My rule is if there's a downtrend, I don't buy into the downtrend. The trend line, imaginary trend line we're drawing here, tells me that there's a downtrend. Your moving averages tells you there's a downtrend. I think it'd be foolish and improper at this time to buy into Bitcoin. There's no candlesticks telling me that there's a reversal pattern going on. If there were some reversal candlesticks like here, I might be a little bit more excited too, but I'm not seeing anything but indecision candlesticks. So the analysis for today, definitely not an up move, potential, more downside potential. Next stop, 97, 9800. The next stop after that, 8200. Hopefully we get some support here and this thing turns around soon. So I'm putting together a PDF of my complete trading system. It has taken me over 2 decades to develop this system. So you'll want to keep checking in with this channel to make sure that you can snatch up this PDF just as soon as it becomes available. I will also keep making new videos each day. So like and subscribe. Be sure to ding that bell so that you can get notified when I come out with a new video. In trading, you must train yourself to be like the lion. Most people do business and trade like a scared gazelle. Train yourself to be like the lion. Dominate your domain. Analyze, educate, and when it's time to take care of business, you take care of business. Remember, if you don't kill it, your family doesn't eat. This is Blake Storm, SniperInvestor.com.